Hi, this is Kate Creasy with Kate's Paper Creations, and I am here to share this month's paper pumpkin alternatives with you. That would be for April of 2020. The kit is called My Wonderful Family, and if you're not a paper pumpkin subscriber yet, I would love to have you join my group. Those who are a part of my group, I make paper pumpkin case inserts for everybody. You can see those, and so that they can keep their stamp sets in stamp cases and keep them nice. And then I also do extras. Like this month I'm making some stencils because I have a silhouette cameo. I'm making some stencils of the stems and the butterfly and the tree, so that you can use those stencils then to make more cards with your daubers and inks. And so my subscribers will get those as well this month. And then I also make these alternative videos to provide inspiration for things that you can do with your kit and make it go further for you. So if you are local, which is good old Sequim, Washington, and you join us, then I also host a monthly gathering in my home where we make a couple of the alternatives that I have come up with. So I hope you'll join us, and I'm looking forward to sharing my projects with you. Okay, so the first card I'm going to show you how I made is this one. It turned out really, really cute. It uses the little sprig stamp from the stamp set in the kit for Paper Pumpkin. And I used, for the colors, I used Pear Pizzazz, and I'll show you how I got the variations. And the tree trunk, as I said earlier, I made a stencil, and so we're going to use the stencil to do this. And this is a 3.5 by 5 card. So I have cut a piece of Whisper White, and it is leaving a 1/8 of an inch all the way around, so it's a 1/4 inch smaller, which makes it 3.25 by 4 3/4. That's what this piece is, and that's the piece I'm going to use. And to get it kind of centered, I'm just kind of giving it an eyeball here, and I'm just going to kind of move it up like this. Perfection is not what I'm into here, and I'm just going to lay it down like that. And then I am going to use crumb cake for the tree itself, and a brush. These are brushes. These are just makeup brushes I bought from Amazon, and they just work so nice. I just love them. So I'm just going to take my brush, and I'm brushing kind of out towards the edges. And like I have said in previous videos, you don't have to worry about getting it perfect, because variations in the shading just make it look more natural even. So I'm really not too worried about doing that. So there's my basic tree all inked in. And then I'm going to use basic black. And I don't know how many of you have been stamping for very long. I've been stamping for probably 25 years. And when we first started out, there weren't a lot of tools and things. That's come a long ways, stamping has. And so back in the day, when you wanted something to add a little bit of texture or something to something, you would use what was called a stippler. And so that's what this is. It looks like a plastic dish scrubber on a stick. And I'm going to ink that up with some black, and I'm going to just dab it on there until I got enough that I think I want. And that will add just a little bit of variation and texture to my tree. I think that's enough, and we'll pull that up and put it out of the way. And I don't know how hard it is to tell, but you can see that there's just a little bit of variation in the coloring there. So let's get that put away so we don't get ink where we don't want it. Let's close this one too, because we're done with it. And now for the leaves. I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz, and what I did is I just did double stamping. So I just kind of picked places where I thought leaves should stick out from, and I'd stamp it once and stamp it again, so you get that shading. And stamp it once, stamp it again. And I just kept going around on the tree until I felt I had the tree full enough of leaves. Oops, let's... And you can see it's starting to take shape, and the colors are just, I mean, it just turns out so pretty. I was just, when I thought about using the stencils, and like I said, I make the stencils with my Stampin' Up! Because, with my silhouette, I mean, because I can scan in the images from the stamp set and create an outline to cut out those stencils. And then that just makes the kit go even further. For me, I just love doing it. And you can't really do this wrong, you know, it's just random, and you're just filling it in until that tree looks like it's got enough leaves. See how that's filling in? Doesn't that look nice? Needs some more down here yet, I think. Oops, let's do that one again. That's just about there. And then I went back for a third color, and I stayed with Pear Pizzazz, but I went back and I kind of double stamped over some of the darker ones again, and see how it creates, I'm hoping you can see it, just a little bit darker of an image just on a few of them, and it gave it a third layer of color, which I just loved. So I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. And like I say, it's up to you how many leaves you put on or don't put on, but it turned out really, really cute, I think. So that's the basic of that. Oh, I just closed up my ink too soon. And then I took another brush, smaller one. This is the one I used. To put just a little bit of a green shading around the base of my tree, so it looks like it's sitting out in the middle of a nice green yard, somewhere where you'd sit in the summertime with the sunshine. So there's the green base, and then I used the marker, and I used the narrow end, and I just added some grass, and I just scritched it in there. I don't know how any other way to describe it. Just kind of made it look like there was some tufts of grass around the base of the tree, nice and some of them taller than others, and that put a little bit of grass around the base of the tree. So there's that. Then I wanted to do a little bird, but I don't want to use it in the color that it came in the kit. I don't like the mint macaroon color on this Pear Pizzazz tree. So I turned my little bird over. I'm going to put just a little touch of removable adhesive here, and I'm going to turn him over and stick him to it so he won't move. And then I'm going to take Seaside Spray, and I'm going to turn him into a bluebird. And I need another brush. Let me grab another brush. There we go. And we'll get a little bit of ink on it, and I don't want him to get too dark too fast, so I'm going to brush it off a little bit. That looks good. There's my little bluebird. I want my bluebird to have an eye, so I'm going to use my black Stampin' Right marker. No, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the journaling pen that we have. Where's my journaling pen? Can't find it. Oh, I try to always be prepared for these videos, and something always happens. So, okay. Just going to put a tiny dot in there so my birdie has an eye. And then I used the white chalk marker. And you know how the birds in the kit had some little white lines in here and that to kind of give it a little more shape and dimension. I'm going to try to imitate those just a little bit. So I'm going to try and keep it as light and as narrow as I can. Just add a few little lines. And that's okay. That's enough. I'll put one right there. Okay, so there's my little bird. And I'm going to attach my bird with a mini dimensional. It just fits. If you put it on the fattest part of the body, it'll just fit and not show when you turn him over. And then we'll perch him in the tree somewhere. Let's see, I think right there is a perfect place for that little birdie. So there is the front of my card. And then I attached it. This is going, like I said, going to be a note card. So the finished card base is 3.5 by 5. And I need to burnish the edge. And then I'm going to attach this with dimensionals. I'll put one in the middle to kind of support the middle. You'll put on as many as dimensionals as you think it needs, but I think this is enough. And get those out of the way. And then I'm just going to attach it to the card front like this, leaving that 1/8 inch margin all the way around. And there is the finished card. So I hope you got a little bit of inspiration from this video. And as I said earlier, if you're one of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, I make things like the stencils and that to share. Now, when you punched out these trees, if you saved the negatives of these that you punched out, then you would have that you could use as a stencil. A little trickier because it's got a lot of, you know, they're closer together, but you could cover them with sticky notes, the extras around the edges, so that you could create a stencil of your own just using the negatives that you took the tree out of when you punched out for your kit. So even if you didn't have my handy dandy stencils, you could still do this card. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.